So this is my little tier list. I made it custom on Canva, so that's why it doesn't look like how it usually would on TierMaker. I tried to make one on TierMaker. It was very frustrating. Making a tier list on TierMaker is so much more difficult than I thought it was. I kept putting in images and it kept deleting my images, but it wouldn't let me delete images. So I'd put one in by mistake and then it would be like, no, it has to stay there forever. And it's like, I don't want it to stay there forever. What do you mean? How do I remove this? And they're like, just start over. I'm like, okay, fine. I finally get all my images in properly the way I need them to be. I'm like, okay, let me preview it. Apparently preview means delete everything and I just didn't know. Anyway, what is this tier list? These are all the games I played this year. Some games aren't included here, like Stardew Valley isn't included here because Stardew Valley I've been playing for like 5 or so years now, and I feel like it's pretty clear that that's my favorite game. This is specifically for like this year's games. I feel like that just made sense. This tier list's a little small. I would have liked to make custom categories, but I'll just explain the categories to you. That's easy, right? S tier is obviously like my very favorite games. I have a lot of favorites, so these are the games that I'd like recommend to everyone. A is I really enjoyed these, would still probably recommend them to a lot of people very generally. B is I would maybe recommend them if someone had a specific interest that I thought would match, like they were okay, they were good even. C, mid. They existed, I played them. I don't think I have a very negative opinion of most games on this list. D tier is D tier. They weren't that great, probably because of like personal opinions. I don't know how many games will go on F tier. I know one will, specifically. I don't know how many others because a lot of these games are good games. I sure do know how to pick them. But I also tried a lot of like new types of games this year, which is really nice. Like I tried Ori, which is a platformer. I never thought I'd be able to play platformers. I thought I'd be pretty bad at them, and I kind of am. But I have persistence, which is all you need for platformers, as I have discovered. First on the list is Spiritfarer. It was a very like comfort game for me. Like I knew what to expect. I knew I loved the game. I knew I would enjoy playing it. I really love it. Unfortunately, with the way this is laid out, I couldn't put the games on the same page as the tier list because I wanted there to be enough space. I hope it's understandable. But yeah, Spiritfarer is my very favorite game. I think it's kind of necessary for a lot of people to play. Next up, we got Octopath Traveler. And okay, maybe I still haven't completely finished Octopath Traveler. Maybe I'm still trying to defeat the secret boss. Maybe I have cried many times in frustration over this game. Maybe it's caused me immense stress, and maybe I shouldn't have included it on the tier list, but after like 150 hours and completing the main story, it has to go on the tier list. Octopath Traveler is a very difficult one to rank because I enjoyed it so much when I was going through the main story. I was always like at the right level for everything to where nothing felt too difficult until like the Rune Lord boss. I liked it. I appreciate like what it's done for me stream wise. It helped me like grow a community. A lot of people here joined because of Octopath. And like I said, I liked the characters, I liked going through the story, but unfortunately, like where I'm at now is frustration. I also did this thing where I went around and scrutinized every NPC to get their backstory, and when you get the backstory of like 50 NPCs, they start to be very similar. There are so many like NPCs in that game who are widows, who are single parents, and it's like, I'm sorry, you're like the 7th one I've met. I can't sympathize with you. I sympathized with like the previous 6. Why don't you guys make a support group together or something? I don't know. What do you want from me? I still think it's a good game. I don't know if I'd like recommend it to people like generally because it's very long. It takes a lot of investment. I think I'd put it in B. I think that's respectable. Thanks for listening to my Octopath rant. I feel a lot of things about that game. Some of the characters have really good stories. All of them do. I did notice that in the middle, the chapter 3 stories kind of got a little repetitive to where every single one involved betrayal in some way from someone we thought we trusted, to the point where it's like where I got to like the 3rd one, I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna betray me? That's so crazy, wow. Strange Horticulture, I wish I hadn't bought it on Switch. I wish I hadn't played it on Switch because Switch controls are a little poor with how they rely on you using a mouse. Like, you really need a point and click mouse. I wish they could have like ported the controls over a little bit better. I liked the plants. I liked the puzzles. I got a bad ending. There are multiple endings, so there is replayability, and I probably will replay it. C tier. Like, it's good. I should probably play it more, and I'd probably like it more. But as it is now, I feel kind of like neutral towards Strange Horticulture. Like, it had a lot of good to it, but I need to play more endings before I can really get an opinion that's more than, yeah, it was good. Spirit of the North. I don't think a lot of you remember me playing Spirit of the North. That was a very long time ago when I first started streaming. I get a lot of games free from Epic. A lot of these games are games I got for free on Epic. This was one of them. It had a lot of promise. It looked beautiful. You play as a fox and you do little puzzles. It's an exploration game. It's beautiful. But I found a lot of puzzles very frustrating. And not in a good way, not in a way where it's like, oh, I should have known that, I should have realized this, but in a way where it's like, you want me to backtrack that far? Why? And then, as I was like, I need to give this a chance because, you know, I don't want to just like write off games, especially one like this, which was supposed to be so beautiful and so good. A lot of people say it's good, but I got soft locked in it. I got soft locked. The game said no, you can't play anymore. Like, I spent like an hour on stream trying to figure out a puzzle, and I was doing it right, but it just would not work. I was soft locked. I went and looked up a walkthrough later, and I was doing it right. It just was not working for some reason. I don't know what the problem was. I just got soft locked. So, unfortunately, it wouldn't let me play. That's our very first F tier. I always kind of meant to give it another chance, but at the same time, I wasn't really enjoying it that much anyway, so it's like, why would I bother? And it's unfortunate because I wanted to like it so badly. Next is Ring of Pain. It's a roguelike card game. You choose paths, there's a creepy owl. I like playing it every once in a while. It's another game I got for free from Epic. Probably C tier, honestly. I like Little Misfortune. I've played it twice. I played it right when it came out and then again for stream recently. It's kind of more sad than anything, and I love that it follows just the weirdest little girl. What a great representation. The fact that I put Octopath in B is really like throwing off how I rank things, because it's like, well, I don't know if Little Misfortune is better than Octopath, but I don't know if it's the same as Octopath, but it's definitely A or B. Should I move Octopath up? Maybe B tier was a little harsh. Maybe I was letting like personal vendettas get in the way of how much I do like Octopath. Fine. I will try not to let my biases color the way I like Octopath and how I know I like Octopath. If I must, I will make sacrifices because Little Misfortune definitely deserves B tier. I don't know why that sounds mean. It's not meant to be mean. Venbo is really cute. I played it during Next Fest in March, and then I played it like pretty soon after it came out. S tier. No thoughts. S tier. We got Ib next. It holds up really well. It's a really old game, but it's really nice. It has multiple endings. It's pronounced Ib, but like with a short E. So like Ib. I get you. Ib. There's like this whole thing with paintings, which I'm very partial to paintings and museums and stuff. The characters were really good. I really like Gary, but I definitely thought Ib was very strong. Maybe A tier. Yeah. I'll put it there. I don't know how many of you know I was a teenage exocolonist. I started playing this early on, and it's very narrative heavy. During one of my Teenage Exo streams, the writer for the game came in to talk to me. Formative moment for me. Truly, it's also a game with multiple endings, and it has the mechanic where when you start a new save, it's like starting a new life and you retain memories from the past one. It's a really cool game. Honestly, highly recommend. I think it was nominated for like DICE Awards. So I don't know if that tells you anything. It's really solid. Little Gator game. I played this game right when it came out. I like gators a lot. I really do. And this one had such a wholesome story, and there are things to get. And it's really cute. Can I rank it any lower than A? I think objectively, A is definitely kind of high for it, but this is my subjective, not scientifically sourced tier list. So it gets A tier because it deserves it, because I loved it. It was amazing the whole way through. A Short Hike. Another game I played very early on, free from Epic. I've played it twice. It's not a story-heavy game. It's more of a game where you kind of like explore, you talk to people, you collect feathers, and you hike. A for A Short Hike. With Alba, I wish I'd put more time into it. It's one of those games where the experience is kind of really valuable and there's a lot of things to collect and a lot of things to do to help the wildlife. And I think I skipped a lot of it, so I think this is a game that I should probably consider replaying. I think it gets to sit in B tier for now because I think it has a lot of potential even if I didn't necessarily get to see it all. Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. I loved this game. Turnip Boy robs a bank is coming out very soon if it's not already out. And yes, I will be playing that game. Of course I will. I loved being a menacey turnip. I loved exploring things. I loved evading taxes. I loved uncovering a conspiracy. Yeah. Need I say more? Unpacking was really nice. It was a game I had been putting off for a while because of the price. I bought it while it was on sale. It was such a cozy experience. It was very strong, and there was so much subtle storytelling throughout. I didn't understand how that was possible because, like, how could there be storytelling in a game about unpacking? Some of it does genuinely kind of hit hard. Like, you get invested. Yeah, now that I think about it, there are like 2 games that I forgot to include. That's kind of rough, actually. I guess they were that bad. As prepared, as planned, we got The Stillness of the Wind. It's about an old woman named Talma who lives on her own. The world kind of ended, everyone moved out to the city. It was still like kind of a cute game with a cute premise. It was very simple. It really captured the feeling of loneliness. C tier. C tier? Maybe D tier. Not because it was bad, but just because it wasn't good. But I got it for free, to be fair. These were games that didn't even get uploaded as VODs. And then the other one is The Wanderer Frankenstein's Creature. It was a beautiful game. It takes place from the perspective of Frankenstein's creature, as the title would suggest. It starts in like black and white because he doesn't see color or emotions, and then as you progress, the world gets more colorful. He goes through experiences of like being looked down upon because he's a monster. It gives you a lot of food for thought. It's a really beautiful game. Maybe B tier. I don't know. Is that shocking? That a game I forgot maybe goes into B tier? Bad Father I played at the same time as Ib. It's a very spooky game. I got 2 bad endings in a row. I am kind of talented, not to brag or anything. I don't know how it measures up to Ib. I think I prefer Ib more, personally. For now, I think probably B tier. Sunhaven. 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 Sunhaven does a lot for the farming sim genre. It adds a lot of unique things. It adds more than just farming, fishing, mining, which was such a breath of fresh air after Stardew Valley. But it's also one of those games where it's like you get obsessed with it for a while and then you drop it for a while and then you pick it back up and get really obsessed again and then you drop it for a while again. It's one of those, you know? Anyway, favorite game. Dredge is a spooky fishing game I played right when it came out. I met a lot of people through Dredge. Dredge was really lovely for that. It had a really good aesthetic, a really good story. I got a bad ending. I love this game. I love it. It's all about fishing, and yet the fishing mechanic is so unique and so fun, and they changed it up so many times to where it never got boring. And you get to catch literal abominations. I love this game. It's gone through a lot of updates since I played it. They've added more story, they've added more fish. Like, it's actively being improved, which is really impressive. How many times have I said this while I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom? Favorite game? Maybe we'll put it like here. I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom since it came out. I pre-ordered it. It's one of my favorite games. I get a lot of good clips from it. I get a lot of good interactions from it. I've met a lot of people through it. I appreciate for that. I'm glad I streamed it. I only just finished Night in the Woods. I wanted to finish it specifically for today when I was going to rank it on a tier list. And Night in the Woods is a lot of people's very, very favorite games because there's a lot of heavy topics, a lot of serious topics that get discussed with a lot of care and respect and a lot of nuance. And a lot of people can relate to the main character, May, me included. It is as good as people say if you're considering playing it. There are 2 types of people. Either people who have played Night in the Woods and say it's amazing, or people who haven't played it but really want to. It's not my favorite game, but it is a really wonderful game. It has replayability, but it's kind of forced replayability to where you can't get the full story upon just one replay. You have to play it again. Did I just say one replay? Upon one play, but it's still a really nice game. Speaking of, Fall of Porcupine is actually pretty similar. It's even got like a similar logo with the autumn leaves. It's not as in-depth. It focuses more on mini games and telling a story. I thought Fall of Porcupine was really good when I finished it, and then I played Night in the Woods and I was like, oh. That being said, I still think Fall of Porcupine is really good. I went back to replay it on my own to try and get some achievements. A lot of the achievements are like, go down this path instead, because there are two friends in the game, and it doesn't change the story as much as it does in Night in the Woods. It's just whoever you choose to interact with, you get their events instead. I tried to do that, and it just glitched. Like, first playthrough, I had no issues. A lot of people complain about bugs with this game. I had no issues. I was like, what is everyone even talking about? Second playthrough, I was like, what? I would enter the place where Kara was supposed to be, the building, and it was completely empty and I could not leave after that. I had to restart the game and replay the entire game to get back to that point. I'd say it's pretty good, like C tier. Smushy Come Home, another really strong game on its own. I really liked this game. You get to collect different caps for Smushy. Another one similar to Little Gator Game and A Short Hike. I think it ranks similarly to both of those, A tier as well. But if I were ranking within the category, which I am not, I think I'd rank it above both of those. So yeah, during one of my Smushy Come Home streams, the person who choreographed the music for the game stopped in to chat with me about it, and that was really cool. It was just really neat chatting to someone about the music for the game as someone who made the music. Like, that's not an experience a lot of people get to like say they've had. They had a lot of insight because obviously they made it. They talked to me about specific things they added in, and I always appreciate when that happens because it really shows care for the game. I think that happened to me with Sunhaven too, although the problem with that is I cannot verify it. Someone came into a Sunhaven stream early on when I started playing, and they said that they were a dev for the game. And later on, I tried to like verify this, tried to find their Twitter. I tried to find out like what they did for it. I even looked up the list of developers for Sunhaven, couldn't even find that. So I can't really verify if a real dev for Sunhaven came to talk to me or if they were just claiming to be. I can't imagine why they would. So last Next Fest, a dev came in and they asked me to play their demo that they had in Next Fest, and for some reason I completely missed it. It was called Departed Away. It's a full game that you can pick up. It's a visual novel similar to Doki Doki Literature Club. It was really cute because the dev was obviously really excited to watch someone play the game. They stuck by through all of it, even though it was very late for them. Ori and the Blind Forest, the first like serious platform I've played. A lot of these can count as platformers, but not like serious consequence platformers, you know? I'm glad I played Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm glad I branched out, and I am definitely going to play Will of the Wisps. I'm really excited for Will of the Wisps. Everyone says it's so much better than The Blind Forest, but I loved The Blind Forest. It was beautiful. It made me cry. It was quite emotional. It frustrated me a lot too. I was getting very angry towards the end. I think it's very solid. Maybe A tier. Wilmot's Warehouse was a random one I played recently, another free game from Epic. It's one where you kind of just organize boxes. It's just kind of cozy. It gets a little overwhelming after a while. I was getting a little stressed out even though it's supposed to be relaxing. I think it's good as like just a random one-off to play. I think for me it was a little overwhelming. Yeah, okay, maybe D tier. The Quarry is next. It was the horror game I played for October. It scared me so much. I screamed a lot. I didn't like the way it ended. I got a really bad ending where all my favorite characters died. Everyone has an opportunity to die in that game if you don't play your cards right. And like, how did that happen? How did everything go so wrong? I was upset after a while. Like, I didn't tell you guys, but I was really upset after I played this game for a while. Like, I ended stream after that and I left my computer and I was like, I can't believe that happened. How did that happen? Like, I dwelled on that for a long time. So I guess it's a good game because it made me emotional, it made me connected, so I don't know. It was pretty good. I want to replay it for sure. I'll probably replay it for like next October or something. But yeah, the quarry I ended up liking a lot more than I thought I would. I thought it would be not the best experience. I thought I'd kind of just suffer the entire time, but I was enthralled. A tier. Good game. Worth the price. Oh yeah, that was the game where I had a heart monitor for it, so you could really see. I think my heart got up to like 150, I think. Okay, last game. Frambo. I played that for October as well. It was really dark. So much darker than I thought. It had very difficult puzzles. Honestly, a lot of them took me a long time to figure out. I don't think I'm the worst at puzzle solving. At least I like to think I'm not. I still liked Frambo. I liked the story. Towards the end, it got really dark. I don't think I liked it more than Little Misfortune. I think it's another situation of Smushy where it goes into the same category, but if I was ranking within the category, Little Misfortune would go above Frambo. Thomas Was Alone? Hold on. I lied. Not last game. How did I forget Thomas Was Alone? I love Thomas Was Alone. I'd recommend Thomas Was Alone to everyone. Surprise encore game. Thomas Was Alone. This was like one of those games that I had been wanting to play for years on stream. I don't know if you guys have this, but if you used to watch like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, that like really formulated your desire to want to also stream or create content like I did, I have a lot of games that I watched them play or I saw them play where I was like, oh, I would love to do that. If I ever did YouTube or streamed, I would love to do that. This was one of them. I saw PewDiePie play. Thomas Was Alone, also one of my favorite games. It's about blocks and they all have stories and personalities and you get really emotionally connected to them and I love them so much. Anyway, it's my favorite game. Yeah, no, I think this checks out for a tier list. Most games are an S and A, which I think is indicative of the fact that I choose really good games and I know what games I'll like. There's only one in F tier and that's because of a personal grudge because it soft locked me and I'll never get over it. I think this is pretty solid. I think this is a very me tier list where everything goes really high up because I don't have negative opinions of things a lot of the time, unless they did something to wrong me, like Spirit of the North did. But yeah, if you're considering any of these games, everything in S and A tier I would recommend. Stuff in B and C tier, which I would recommend depending on like what your interests are. And then D and F, we don't talk about that.